What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. If you missed my last video, we made Pokemon shorts out of a really soft blanket-like material, so make sure you go check that out. I will have it linked down below. And in today's video, we are going to be making pants out of a woven blanket, and it has a lighthouse beach picture to it. If you're new here, make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button and turn the bell notifications button on so you never miss a future video. And even drop a like on today's video if you enjoy the content. And with all that being said, let's get into these pants. Okay, before we get started, this is the blanket that we are going to be using today. This will be the side that I'm using because if you look on the other side, you can obviously tell that this is the bottom or the back side of it. So this will be the side we're using today. And we'll probably use all the way from the top to about maybe a little above where the people are at the bottom. I hope you could see the people. I don't know if the camera's cutting it off, but we got two people down here. I don't know if those people will be on the pants, but we'll see when we get to it. All right, so first step, obviously you're gonna wanna take your measurements for what size pants you wanna have. I already have my measurements because I'm making these to fit me for a personal. So I have all my measurements already made, and I actually have like patterns made out for shorts. So I'm going to use the exact same pattern, but basically just obviously add length to it for the pants. Now, when you're doing pants, you're going to want to start on the back side. So here I have the back side. And you're actually going to want to just pull it forward a little bit and flip it over. That way you can cut out your two fronts. So when you have your sizes all made out and your patterns made out, in my case, I have patterns. And if you see, I actually have two different patterns. So I have one for the front and one for the back. The back is going to be a little bit wider right here. So if I line them up, the back's actually going to have a little bit more curve to it and a little extra because it's for the back. You need more space for your butt and just more space in the back in general. If you look on any typical pair of pants, you might see like where the stitches meet at the crotch area, that the back actually has a little bit more to it. So that's why we add a little bit more on, but we're not going to be working on the back just yet. We're going to be doing the front. And also my pants are going to be going this way. So all of the picture on the pants will actually be going down the leg. Hopefully you can see that. So like the lighthouse isn't going to be this way, the picture. It's actually going to be like sideways. And I liked it this way better because once I flip it over to the other side, or actually I could do that right now. You could see this will basically be like one leg. So like all of that will basically be like going down one leg. So I think that would look really sick. And then the top of the lighthouse is actually going to be down like this leg. And then the rest will be there. And then the back will be all of those rocks and beach looking pictures. So again, you want to basically flip it over enough to where you're going to have your piece. So I have my front piece and I'm basically going to line it up. And I actually went through and made marks already. So I have a mark down here and a mark up here at the top. And you're going to just want to make sure whatever width you're making it is basically lined up right to that. So you can see I'm basically lined up right at the edge here to where my pattern is and to where the fabric actually ends. That way when you flip it over, the picture on the other side connects perfectly with this. You might have, you know, half an inch to a quarter of an inch off because you got to leave some allowance for seams, but it'll be close enough to where they will line up and look cool. Okay, so now since I have it measured to where I want it to be, I'm going to just trace a line down here, down the side, just so I know how wide out I want to go, and then I will cut it out. Okay, so I have it cut out, and since I cut it on the edge, obviously it has that fold there. Once I do the next one, or actually no, the next one will be the exact same thing, I believe, but we'll see when I get to it. It has that fold there. Sometimes when you cut in the middle or you're not doing the same thing on each side, it won't have that fold, but it's okay because we'll just cut it straight down the middle. So this is basically how the pants are gonna look. So this is gonna be the front of the pants, and then I have a line already marked down. I don't know if you can see that, but we have a line marked already with Sharpie, and basically that's gonna be a leg, and then that's going to be the other leg, and this will be the front of the pants. So that's what the front of the pants is going to look like. Obviously giving a little bit of allowance for sewing, maybe like 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch on each side, and then we're also going to lose an inch off the top and an inch off the or an inch off the bottom and an inch off the top, excuse me, for the waistband, and of course just to make it cleaner on the bottom. All right, I have it cut out now, so now you can actually get like a little bit better view of what the pants are going to look like. Gonna be kind of cool. This side's definitely super cool how it has all the buildings, and then I think it's kind of funny how this side's literally just clouds, and then the top of the lighthouse, but I think it looks honestly pretty sick because it's just like a bunch of random stuff here and then just one little thing. And then the backside's actually going to just be a bunch of like these rocks and like beachy area looking things are going to be the whole backside. So I think that'll look really cool. And I'm going to have it wrap around. So basically wherever the bottom of this, like wherever I cut out of the blanket, the next piece is actually going to wrap around and continue. So it'll be a full like wrap around pants. So we'll see how it looks in the next step. Okay, so the next step that you're going to do is just basically do that exact same thing, but now for the back side of the pants. And like I mentioned earlier, the back side's a little bit bigger than the front because you just need a little bit space, a little bit more length in the back for the just crotch area and just a little bit length more sticking outwards. I watched a video on how to make a pattern. I'll probably make a video of my own in the future, but I don't have one currently out. So make sure you just know exactly how to measure for the back as opposed to your front side. So now I'm quickly gonna just go ahead and cut out the 2 pieces I need for the back of the pants. All right, so everything is now cut out besides the pockets. Usually when I'm making clothes out of this type of material, the woven blanket material, I use the same exact material for the pockets. So you could see like the pockets in these are made out of that woven blanket material. The pockets in these are made out of that woven blanket. And it's good to use because it blends in, obviously, everything like that. But if you make something like this, like these I made, they were kind of small. The pockets take up a lot of that space in there and it kind of makes them tighter. And when you're wearing something like that with the pockets in, you could feel they're a lot tighter than when the pockets are out. So I'm thinking about using a thinner material for the pockets on these ones, just because I don't want it to feel super, super tight. I want you to have enough room in there. But this is what the front looks like, and I will show you the back now. And this is what the back looks like. I honestly like the back a lot more than the front. Like the front's cool because you can like this is kind of just like, if you didn't know that those were like rocks, you might not know. But like this just looks sick, and we even got the people in there, so that's sick. The front's cool. I just think if there was more buildings, I don't like if it wasn't a sky, but I'm like out of blanket. I used the whole blanket. I think if it wasn't just a sky and it was more, it would look cool because it's just that one little piece of lighthouse. But I think these look sick. These are gonna be the back. Also, I think I am going to be adding the little strings that were on the ends of the blanket up the side. I think that will definitely add a lot to these. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and do the pocket. I actually have a pocket pattern made already too. And I have just this piece of fabric. I had more of it, but I used some. I got this at Dollar Tree for $1, just a little roll of fabric. And we're going to want 4 pieces because each pocket is going to take 2 of these pieces. 1, 2, they're going to get sewn together basically with the opening, and that's going to give you a pocket. So we're going to want 4 pieces. So to do that, I'm just going to take this cloth or this fabric and just fold it into 4 pieces. That way I can just lay this nice and easily over it, cut it out, and I'll have my 4 pieces in one cut. All right, so the pockets are now on. I have them just clipped in, and I tend to go 4 inches down. Like if you look on my pants I'm wearing right now, it's about an inch, inch and a half from the top, and it's actually folded in and sewn on the inside. So once I fold this in, we're gonna lose a little bit of space, and it'll still give us, you know, a few inches here. So it's not super far down and it's not right up next to the waist. So now I'm just going to go ahead and sew. I'm basically going to just sew on the lines right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and once they're sewn in place, obviously the clips will come off then. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold it over like this. And I'm going to go ahead and sew basically right in the same spot, maybe 1/4 of an inch again. And it's going to sort of make like a little crease, a little fold. That's going to be your pocket forming. And another quick tip is, you want to do this step on the side that you're going to have out. So if you look at my pants, this is obviously going to be the inside and this is going to be the outside. So this step you want to do on the side that you have out. That way, if you look at the pants I already made, that way you form these sort of like little ridges, I guess, and they're going to be showing on the outside. So it's going to be nice. If you do it on the other side, you'll get like bad edges and you won't get this nice little edge right here. Also, one of your legs, if you're gonna be doing the strings down the side, you're gonna have to sew it on. So you're gonna have to basically just cut it down to a little left at the edge, and you're gonna sew it onto the front side, and then the pocket is actually gonna go over that. So then the pocket would sit here, and you could just basically sew right over the pocket as well, and then go right down, and then we're gonna fold the pocket and just sew on the pocket, and then that will give us that pocket look. so I have it all sewn on. The pockets are on. I got the strings down the side. So now what you're going to want to do is connect the two pieces to form the leg. So whatever piece or whatever side is going to be your inside, you actually want up. So this is going to be the inside. So this I actually want up. Same with the back. You can see that's the inside. I want that up. That way we could sew it, and then once it folds out, it'll be all nice and even. So we'll just go ahead, line everything up, make sure the pockets are lined up, clip it all down, and then basically just sew all the way up. And then once you get to the pocket, stop and sew around the pocket, and then continue up. You do not want to sew right here, because then you obviously sew your pocket shut. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to sew this together now. All right, that leg's done. I have the others set up. So on the one side, again, we're going to have just the strings on the outside, and then we have the pocket over it, and the other side is just going to be the pocket. So I'm going to go ahead, sew these. Might throw some little clips of me sewing them, and then I'll show you the finished product of, I guess not finished technically, but what we've got so far after I sew this. All right, I think it's looking pretty good so far. I went ahead, finished up both pockets, both sides, and then I even sewed the other side for both of them shut. So basically when you finish this side, you'll have just that side, and I just sewed from the bottom right before it hits the curve. It was a little bit shorter at the bottom on some sides. As you can see, some are a little bit shorter, but that's okay because we're gonna fold it up about an inch and a half anyway. So it'll hide that and it'll make it a cleaner looking bottom. Okay, so now I'm gonna sew the crotch area. So first what you're gonna want to do is turn it all inside out. I'm gonna sew the crotch area together, and by doing that, what we want to do is we want to take the piece where they end, so it creates like a little V right here, and then it creates a V there. You basically want to touch those, and then this right here is going to connect with that all the way up, and you're going to be able to connect this side to this all the way up, basically using pins. So once you have these all connected, you're basically going to ride that side up using pins all the way up, connecting these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, show you what it looks like. All right, so I now have it all clipped together. So basically what it looks like is if you open it, those two pieces down at the bottom are now connected, and I basically rode the sides with clips. So I have two of them now that I'm going to sew right down, and the crotch area is basically connected down there. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew this up quickly and show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, these are all sewed together and they're looking pretty good. This is basically what they look like as of now. And then we got to just go ahead and put the waistband in and roll it down about an inch, inch and a half. And then go ahead and probably just trim these extras off, and then roll it maybe half an inch to an inch, depending on how much length we have left. So now I got my elastic for my waistband. I got this off Amazon. It was like a whole roll for like $8, something like that. And what you're gonna wanna do is measure it out. So what I usually do is I'll just start it at each end. I'll make it go back and forth from one end to the other. And then I'll let it come back to about when it's halfway on this second leg. So when it comes back and it's about halfway right here, that's when I'll cut it. So let me get a pair of scissors. And we'll just make sure that's all lined up, and that'll just give us some room to work with. So we'll cut it at about halfway on that leg. And then basically what you're going to want to do is make sure that it just looks good. These fit me perfectly. They were a little bit loose, but that's why the waistband goes in. So it's going to just pull it together a little bit, and it'll allow you to stick around your waist a little bit better. So what you're going to do is just make it into a circle, and then just sew this together. All right, now I got it sewn together. I just like to do just like a little box that just helps it when you're stretching it. And now what you're gonna go ahead and do is basically take it, and you're gonna put a little pin. So I have these little safety pins, and you're gonna basically put it in from the inside out, and then you're gonna wanna pull it back through. So I have the needle here. I don't know if you can see that, it's really skinny. And then you're gonna basically just come back the other way, just so it holds it in there. So just go in from the inside and then go right back out from the inside. And then you're gonna put it on the front, the back, and the two sides. So make sure it's all even when you're doing it. And I'm gonna do that now. Okay, now I have it all in on all 4 pinned down. And what you're gonna wanna do now is basically sew it, and I sew it from the inside, so I'll be sewing here. And you're gonna wanna pull the fabric, or not the fabric, you're gonna wanna pull the elastic as you're sewing. So you're actually gonna wanna stretch it, and that'll give you that wave-like effect. So let me go over and jump on the sewing machine. So you're gonna set it up under the sewing machine at about where one of the pins are in, and just pull it as close as you can to one of the pins, just so it starts at an edge. And I usually sew close to the top, and then when I flip it, I'll sew close to the top again, and I'll form that little barricade around the elastic. And now what you're going to want to do is, I have a straight stitch right now, and I'm doing it at 3 for width. And now what you're going to want to do is basically just stretch the elastic as you're sewing. So as I'm stretching it, that will allow all of the fabric to bunch up on it, and when it goes back to its normal form, it's going to make that wave-like effect that you see a lot of clothes with elastic bands have. So I'm going to go ahead and sew. Waistband is now sewn in, so now I'm going to go ahead and fold it basically at where the waistband is. That's where I'm going to grab. So you can see I'm grabbing the waistband. I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to basically stretch these pants out. So you're going to stretch it so it gets flat, and then clip it all the way around. And then you're going to sew again. And again, when you sew again, just make sure you are pulling on that elastic so it forms this little wave effect that we're getting at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that whole process now. I'm back. We just finished the pants. They look really good. This is the top, and this is that wave effect I was talking about. We have that on both sides. They came out looking really good at the top. And then the inside, I'm just going to go ahead and clean that all up just with a scissor, just trim it down. And now we are going to go ahead and just fold up the bottoms. I'm probably going to trim these off, these little extra pieces, because they're not needed right now. Even if we have to fold it up, which we do, they're not needed. We can just trim them off. And then I'm going to fold up the bottom either 1/2 inch to 1 inch. It really depends on how. I'm going to try them on and see how much I want to roll them up, because, you know, I don't want them too short and I don't want them too long. I want them just perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so we got the bottoms all nice and cleaned up. Now I'm going to go ahead and just fold it about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then we're going to go ahead and just sew it, just a straight line stitch all around, and do that to both legs, and then your pants will be done. All right, the pants are done. I finished rolling them up at the bottom, and I still think they're a pretty good length, as you can see from the side and from the front. I'm just styling them right now with a pair of basic black and white Chuck Taylor's Converse. I think a basic pair of shoe, such as like these, like a black pair of shoe, or maybe even like a white pair of shoe, like a basic white Air Force One, will definitely go with these pants a lot better, because the pants are already pretty noisy. You know, you have a lot of colors, a lot of design, a lot of pictures going on them. So I think just a basic shoe will allow the pants to pop more, rather than having a shoe that has too much noise, too much color, and then it's kind of just way too much going on. Again though, I think these are the best fitting, best structured pairs of pants, pairs of shorts, whatever, that I made. Here are a few of the other pairs that I've made. Definitely best fitting and structure ones I've made so far. The length is perfect. The waistband is nice and tight for my exact size. I did the strings down the side, and it was the first successful attempt at that. Pockets came out perfect. The back came out perfect. Front came out perfect. Everything really came out perfect. So I want to know your opinions, and let me know what you think down below in the comments. Alright guys, well that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video and you enjoyed the pants that we made, make sure you hit that like button, and of course drop a comment down below letting me know what you thought of the pants or what you want to see me make next. Also, if you're new here and you haven't already, make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button and turn that bell notifications button on so you never miss a future video or a future project that I may make. And with all that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.